You know the place, the north side of the house, where the siding stays damp after rain. Under the old maple, where grass gives up by June. Behind the shed, where the soil is cool, dark, and forgotten. Along the fence line, where leaves collect and nobody bothers to rake them clean. Most people see failure there, so they fight it with more seed, more fertilizer, and another flat of sun-loving plants. Every year, the same bare ground stares back. Then they go to the store and pay high prices for ginger, turmeric, cardamom, gourmet mushrooms, and real wasabi, crops with a strange secret. Many of them do not merely tolerate shade, they require it. Not dead shade, but living shade. Filtered light, moist soil, shelter from harsh sun and wind. The old Amish way was not to overpower land like that. It was to read it, to notice what the place was already offering before trying to change it. So what if the worst corner of your yard is actually the exact microclimate demanded by crops you keep buying? But before planting anything, there is one promise in the title that needs an honest correction. Here is the honest version. Changing the light does not mean turning the north side of your house into a tomato field. It does not mean mirrors, gadgets, grow lamps, or tricks that make deep shade behave like July sun. That is not old wisdom. That is shopping. The older way is quieter. You stand in the yard at breakfast, at noon, and again before supper. You notice where sun lands, where it skips, where soil stays cool, and where wind dries everything out. Then you stop asking, how do I force this plant to live here? And start asking, what already wants this place? That question saves money, labor, and years of disappointment. Shade is not a defect, it is a condition. And conditions grow crops, woodland herbs, edible ground covers, native understory plants, rare fruits, spices that prefer filtered light, and mushrooms that would fail in a hot exposed bed. The gain is not magic, the gain is matching. A sunny wall can ripen peppers. A cool fence line can shelter currants. A damp log pile can feed mushrooms. One yard can hold several climates if you learn to read them. That is the real meaning of changing the light, not overpowering the land, but adjusting choices, pruning a branch, opening a path, or using the shade already there. And the first skill is simpler than buying seeds, learning that not all shade is the same. There are 4 shades worth naming before you plant. The first is dappled shade. This is shifting light under tall hardwoods, where sun breaks through in moving patches. Not black porch shade, not the bake strip beside a metal shed. Dappled shade is cool, bright, and alive. It is often the richest woodland light you have. Trees lift the sun overhead, leaf litter feeds the soil, and the ground stays protected from harsh heat. Many woodland crops are built for exactly that filtered light. The second is partial shade, 3 to 6 hours of direct sun a day. But the hour matters. Morning sun is gentle. It dries dew and gives plants energy before heat arrives. Afternoon sun is harsher. It can scorch tender greens, stress shallow roots, and turn a good bed into a wilted mess by evening. So a place with sun from breakfast until noon is valuable. A place with sun from mid-afternoon until evening needs more caution. Same hours, different garden. The third is full shade. That means under 3 hours of direct sun, but still bright indirect light. Think of a north wall, an open barn side, or a lane edge where sky is visible but sun barely touches the soil. If you can still read a seed packet there, it is not darkness, it is cool light. The fourth is deep dry shade. Under dense evergreens, beneath old maples with rope-like roots, or against a wall where rain never reaches, trees are stealing both light and moisture. Planting before repair is wasted effort. In deep dry shade, the first crop is soil, compost, leaf mold, mulch, and steady water. Once you can name the shade, the next question is why some plants actually perform better there. A leaf is not just decoration, it is a sugar factory. Light hits chlorophyll, water comes up from the roots, carbon dioxide enters through tiny pores. The plant uses those 3 things to make sugar, and sugar becomes stems, roots, fruit, and new leaves. That is photosynthesis in plain language. But more light is not always more food. Every plant has a limit, a point where the leaf is already working as fast as it can. After that, extra sunlight does not make extra sugar. It becomes heat. It pulls water out faster. It cooks the surface faster than roots can replace moisture. A tomato can use a hard blast of summer sun because it is built for it. Strong plumbing, thicker leaves, and a hunger for bright light. A forest floor plant made a different bargain. Its leaves are often wider, thinner, and darker green. More surface catches scattered light. More chlorophyll uses what reaches the ground. In dim light, that is brilliant design. Put that same leaf under noon sun in July, and the design works against it. The broad surface overheats, the thin tissue dries, and the leaf edges turn brown like paper held too close to a stove. Shade crops are not asking for mercy. They are asking for the conditions their leaves were made to use. And the most valuable place to apply that logic is the woodland floor under hardwood trees. In early spring, before maples and oaks close the sky, the woodland floor gets a brief window of light. That is when ramps appear. Ramps are wild leeks, spring ephemerals that push up soft green leaves while the forest is still gray. They gather energy fast, then fade underground as the canopy fills in. By midsummer, the place may look empty again. But ramps can bring serious money at markets and in restaurant kitchens because they taste like garlic, onion, and spring all at once. That demand is also why they are easy to destroy. A ramp patch is not a lettuce bed. It can take years to establish, and a dug bulb is a dead plant. The old way is slower. Grow them in rich leaf litter under hardwoods. Keep soil moist but not swampy. Let fallen leaves feed the ground, and harvest only one leaf from a mature plant while leaving the bulb. You are taking interest, not spending the principal. And ramps are only half the story. Groundnut, also called hupnus, is a native climbing legume with strings of edible tubers underground. Indigenous peoples used it as a serious food, and early colonists relied on it when familiar crops failed. It fixes nitrogen like a legume, climbs vertically through shrubs or poles, and can grow in partial shade to full shade depending on the site. Underground, it forms bead-like tubers with useful protein, a staple crop almost never found in grocery stores. So the shaded corner is not empty land. It may be ramp ground, it may be hopness ground, it may be telling you the crop should match the light. But some of the best shade harvests do not need sunlight at all, because they are not plants. A mushroom log in the shade looks like firewood somebody forgot to split. That is the trick. Mushrooms do not photosynthesize. A tomato leaf needs light to make sugar. A shetika feeds through fungal threads inside dead wood, breaking down lignin and cellulose, and turning a fallen branch into food. So shade is not a disadvantage. It is protection. It keeps logs cool, slows evaporation, holds rain in the bark, and keeps mycelium from baking dry. Give mushrooms heat, wind, and hard sun, and you get cracked wood and failure. Give them hardwood, moisture, and patience, and the same corner can fruit for years. The simplest system is shiitake on logs. Cut fresh hardwood such as oak, beech, maple, or sweet gum. Drill holes, tap in spawn, seal with wax, and stack the logs where rain can reach them but summer sun cannot punish them. Months later, sometimes the next season, brown caps push through the bark. Oyster mushrooms and lion's mane can work similarly, depending on wood and climate. Oysters are fast and forgiving. Lion's mane looks like a white icicle beard and sells as a specialty crop. They need untreated dead wood, steady moisture, and moderate temperatures. No logs, use hardwood chips. Winecap mushrooms grow in shaded chip beds under trees, along paths, or beside fences, fruiting as burgundy caps while improving the soil. Then there is pawpaw. Pawpaw is North America's largest native edible fruit, and most people never taste one because ripe pawpaws barely travel. The flesh is soft, yellow, and custardy, with flavors compared to banana, mango, and vanilla pudding. Pick it ripe and you have only a few days. Seedlings want protection when young. Mature trees handle dappled light and produce better with some opening overhead. Plant two unrelated trees for pollination because one lonely pawpaw may flower and set almost nothing. Eat the flesh. Avoid the skin and seeds. From there, the story moves to the warm shade, the place where grocery store spice prices suddenly start making sense. That warm strip under the eaves, where rain drips slowly and soil never bakes, can grow things that look like they belong in a spice shop. Ginger is first. Not the powder, but the knobby hand from the grocery store, with little swollen eyes along the fingers. Those eyes are buds. If the piece is firm, not shriveled, and has visible growth points, it can wake up. Ginger is a tropical understory rhizome. In the wild, it grows below taller vegetation, where light is bright but filtered, air is warm, and ground stays evenly moist. Harsh afternoon sun can scorch the leaves and stop the plant from building the fat, fragrant rhizomes you want. Give it warm shade instead. Loose soil, steady moisture, morning light or dappled light, and enough comfort for the underground crop to swell. Turmeric works almost the same way. It is ginger's relative, with broad leaves and orange flesh inside the rhizome. It wants heat, moisture, and shelter from harsh sun. When the season ends and leaves yellow and die back, the plant is done feeding the crop. Dig the rhizomes, save a few firm pieces for replanting, and use the rest fresh, dried, or powdered. In the kitchen, turmeric is famous for curcumin, but the body absorbs it poorly by itself. Pair it with black pepper, and piperine in the pepper helps make curcumin more available. Then there is cardamom. Cardamom is expensive because it is not a typical field crop. It comes from a forest floor plant of South Asia, a shade lover that grows in humid understory conditions and produces small pods harvested by hand. Dense shade is the point, but cardamom hates frost. If winter freezes your ground, treat it as a large potted shade plant. Let it spend warm months outside in filtered light, then move it indoors before cold damages leaves and roots. Ginger, turmeric, and cardamom are not asking for maximum sun. They are asking for warmth, moisture, and protection. But the easiest shade to use may be the cool north side of the house, and one of its crops may already be in your flower bed. The north side of a house is where gardeners often give up. It is cool, damp, and weakly lit. That sounds like failure if you want peppers and melons. But for greens, that shade can be a gift. Spinach proves it. In full spring sun, leaves grow fast, but long days and rising heat push the plant to bolt. Once it sends up a flower stalk, leaves turn smaller, tougher, and more bitter. Morning sun with afternoon shade slows that stress. Shade will not stop bolting forever, because day length still matters, but it can stretch the harvest. Miner's lettuce is another cool shade crop. It grows fast in moist conditions, with round soft leaves and small white flowers that appear to rise through the leaf. Miners in the American West ate it for vitamin C when fresh food was scarce. Let a few plants seed, and they often self-sow where the ground stays moist and friendly. Sorrel belongs there too. It is a perennial lemony green that wakes up soup, eggs, fish, potatoes, or salad. Because it contains oxalic acid, treat it more as a seasoning than a giant daily bowl. Now for the surprise already in many yards, hostas. Most people see them as ornamentals, but in Japan the young shoots, called yuri, are eaten as a spring vegetable. Harvest when shoots are still tight and furled, before leaves open wide, and cook them by sautéing, boiling, or adding them to dishes. Be careful about the source. Do not eat hostas from garden centers, roadsides, sprayed beds, or any plant that may have been treated with pesticides or systemic chemicals. And remember, hostas are not pet food. They can harm dogs and cats. Then comes real wasabi. Most green sushi paste is horseradish, mustard, starch, and color. True wasabi is a cool, wet, deeply shaded streambank plant. It wants moving moisture, excellent drainage, clean water, and protection from heat. That is why true wasabi can sell for extreme prices. The rhizomes are slow and difficult to grow, and once grated, the flavor fades quickly. The heat is greener, fresher, and more fleeting than horseradish. So the north side is not worthless. It is a different assignment. Spinach, miner's lettuce, sorrel, hosta shoots, and, in rare cool wet sites, wasabi. Once the right crops are matched to the shade, then the second half of the title becomes useful, making the light a little better without fighting the place. The mistake is trying to brighten shade by stripping it bare. A shaded bed with naked soil does not become sunny. It becomes dry and crusted, then cold and sticky after rain. The old fix starts with the ground. Pile autumn leaves in a corner and let time work. After a season, they collapse into leaf mold. Not rich compost exactly, but a dark sponge. Mix it into the top layer or lay it over the bed, and shaded soil begins holding steady moisture without turning sour. Where roots make planting hard, build up instead of digging down. A low raised bed gives shallow crops a cleaner start. Add compost for food, then aged wood chips or leaf litter on top. Fresh chips can tie up nitrogen if mixed into soil, but on the surface they act like a forest floor. Then change the light carefully. A white fence, pale board, or light-colored wall can bounce soft brightness into a dim corner. It will not turn hosta shade into tomato sun, but it can help greens thicken and seedlings stop leaning. Trees can be adjusted too, not topped, not butchered. Limbing up means removing a few lower branches so light moves underneath. Dense shade becomes dappled shade. Air moves. Morning light reaches the soil. The tree stays a tree. Layer the space like a forest. Canopy, understory, vines, floor crops, and mushrooms using the same square footage in different ways. You are not pretending the place is sunny. You are making the shade healthier, brighter, and more alive. And when you step back, the reason this knowledge feels hidden is almost as important as the crops themselves. Hidden does not always mean buried by a villain. Sometimes knowledge disappears because nobody puts a price tag on it. Walk through a modern garden center in spring. The bright tables are full of annual flowers, tomato starts, pepper plants, and hanging baskets. They look alive in the cart. They promise quick color. Next year you come back and buy them again. A perennial shade bed does the opposite. Once planted well, it settles in. Ramps spread slowly. Native foods return from the root. Pawpaws wait in the understory like they always belonged there. That kind of garden does not create the same repeat customer. So labels teach what the market wants to sell. Hostas become decoration. Ferns become background. Native foods end up in specialty catalogs, not beside the checkout lane. And after one generation stops asking what older people grew under the walnut tree, the answer feels lost. No conspiracy needed. Just convenience, packaging, and a culture trained to fix every empty patch by buying sun-loving plants. The old way starts with a different question. Not, what can I force here? But, what is this place already asking for? So the answer to the dead strip behind the house comes down to one walk, one map, and a few first plantings. Tomorrow morning, take a notebook outside before the day gets busy. Do not plant anything yet. Walk the property once, while the light is low. Mark the places with clean sun, broken sun, cool shade, and deep dry shade. Then do it again around 4 in the afternoon, when hot light moves across the yard. That second walk tells the truth most garden plans miss. The worthless corner was never worthless. It was only matched to the wrong plants. A strip that burns lettuce in June might grow fall spinach beautifully. A damp edge under trees might hold miner's lettuce. A porch pot in soft shade can carry ginger through warm months. A pile of leaves, left to rot quietly, can become the leaf mold that makes shaded beds feel like a forest floor. Then start one slow thing. Plant 2 unrelated pawpaw seedlings, because they need each other to fruit. Order groundnut from a native nursery, not a mystery bag online. Drill shiitake plugs into a fresh oak log, stack it in shade, and let time do what time does. That is the old Amish way in one sentence. Do not overpower the land. Read what it is already offering, then plant what belongs there. If you have a shaded spot that has failed again and again, write it in the comments. Tell us where it is, what died there, and what you are going to try next. Thanks for watching.